When Messiah was being executed, he said 7 phrases, commonly known as the 7 words. But today, we're going to do is look at the first word, Father, forgive them, the famous last words of the Messiah. Now, this reading comes from Luke chapter 23, verse 34, which says, Yeshua said, quote, My Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing. Now, the Master spoke from the cross once in Mark and Matthew, 3 times in Luke, and 3 times in John, for a total of 7 utterances from the cross. Now, the 7 utterances are often referred to as the 7 last words. As the Messiah looked down from his elevated vantage point, he can see his accusers bearing witness to the crucifixion and his crucifiers casting lots for his clothing. Even in the midst of the jeers and the sarcastic remarks of his detractors, he prayed, Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing. This prayer is not found in all manuscripts of Luke. With these words, he lived by his own rule to, quote, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you, so that you may be sons of your Father who is in heaven. Matthew 5:44-45. Now, the prayer spoke specifically of those who perpetrated the crime, the Sadducees and the Romans, but it spoke more broadly to the whole of the Jewish people who, quote, did not recognize the time of their visitation. Luke 19:44. If they had understood, they would not have crucified the Lord of glory. 1 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 8. Now, the Master's prayer on behalf of those putting him to death inspired his disciples when they faced their own martyrdoms. Stephen, the first martyr, prayed on behalf of the whole Sanhedrin, quote, Lord, do not hold this sin against them. Acts 7:60. When going to his death, James, the son of Zebedee, forgave the man who had accused him before Agrippa. James, the brother of the Master, prayed for the religious leaders as he died. Quote, Lord God, Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing. Now, according to a tradition ascribed to a Jewish gospel, the initial success of the apostles among the Jewish people resulted from the Master's prayer from the cross. Quote, and take heed of what is said in the gospel of the Nazarenes. Because of this important prayer of Christ, 8,000 were converted to the faith at a later date. This means 3,000 on the day of Pentecost, as it is said in Acts chapter 2, and later 5,000 mentioned in the Acts chapter 10. This comes from Hugo of St. Clair, Historia Pesnios Domini, attributes the interpretation of the Gospels of the Nazarenes, and the rest of the full quote is on the bottom right there for you. Now, the Master's words emphasize with the whole human condition. He understood our sinful and confused state of being. Hebrews chapter 4, verse 15. We do not know what we are doing. We do not understand sin as God understands sin. We do not see clearly, and even our best efforts to perceive the divine are only a stammering confusion. The Son of Man had compassion on us even as he suffered under the ugliest expressions of human cruelty. He saw that we do not know what we are doing. He asked pardon for us, not solely on the basis of our ignorance, but on the basis of his compassion, most fully expressed by the offering up of his life on our behalf. And that was the importance of the first utterance or the first phrase that the Messiah Yeshua had for us. Please like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next episode. Shalom.